Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. I'm Kristi Shive, and this morning we're visiting with Laura Weddle. She's an extension specialist for farm stress and rural mental health for the University of Kentucky.
Right. So I first want to say that March, the month of March, is National Self-Harm Awareness Month. So that's kind of why I wanted to shed a little light on this specific mental health challenge, as it can be a warning sign for more serious challenges. So non-suicidal self-injury, or NSSI, it's the deliberate act of harming or hurting one's own body without the intent to die by suicide. So some common NSSI behaviors might be cutting. I think that's the one that most individuals probably think of when they think of NSSI, but it can also include some other behaviors like burning, picking, biting, bruising, hitting oneself, hair pulling, scratching, pinching, and then there are even behaviors where you might intentionally prevent a wound from healing. So those are kind of inclusive into the NSSI categories.
Laura, who is at risk and how prevalent is it?
So NSSI is often kept very secret, but the urge to perform NSSI behaviors is not uncommon at all. It's especially seen in adolescents and young adults, but it can carry on into adulthood, or it can even develop in adulthood. So it's essentially a sign of distress. And as distress grows, the person may use self-harm as a negative coping strategy. So for adolescents, nearly 18% have engaged in NSSI at least once. And that behavior often begins in the teenage years as social and emotional changes start to occur. There are lots of signs and symptoms, and I'll list a couple of them for you and then tell you what we should do to get some assistance. So you might notice someone keeping their arms and legs covered to hide their injuries, wearing long sleeves or long pants in the summertime. That's something that just seems a little different than out of their normal behavior clothing wise, as far as covering. There might be some unexplained scratches, cuts, bruises or burns. This individual might have difficulty coping with intense emotions. Scars, you might notice scars that are forming a pattern or a cluster in a specific area. This person might be collecting tools that may help with the act of self-injury. And then you might have an individual who makes a lot of excuses about the injuries if someone asks them about them. So those are some kind of signs there. But if you suspect that someone is performing NSSI or having that type of behavior, you can address it in a non-judgmental fashion. We want to be non-judgmental in how we approach the situation. So while it can be a topic that's uncomfortable to speak about, it's healthy to acknowledge mental health. That it's important and challenges should be addressed. You want to, if possible, connect them to a mental health professional. The interesting thing about NSSI is that often it's the symptom of a challenge or another mental health disorder. And because of this, it does need to be addressed, and early intervention is key to the recovery from this. So while NSSI performance or behaviors lack the intent to die, the self-injury can actually become fatal. And it can often be seen as a precursor to suicide if the mental health challenge is not addressed or treated. So we want to get them connected to the resources and assistance. And this is where I always throw the 988 number out there. That's our, mental health and crisis hotline. You can call or text 988 at any time, and that will connect you with a crisis counselor. They're wonderful, and they can assist in lots of situations like this. And as always, you can always connect with your local extension office if you'd like some more information on NSSI.
Laura, last year you helped lead a training and you shared the power of the question, "Are you okay?" And I think that's a great way to close today. So if you or a loved one needs help, be sure to call or text 988. Thanks for joining us today on the Farm and Home Show, and we'll see you next time.